New this morning, you have 1 day left to finish filing your taxes. Tomorrow is April 15th, the deadline.
If you're counting down, don't get nervous. If you've not started, you might want to file for an extension. You have that option. But if you're trying to get them done in time, we might be able to help. News 13's Catherine Mazzone spoke with a financial expert to get some last-minute ideas. Catherine?
Good morning, Adam. Now, the expert's first word of advice, don't burn the midnight oil by waiting until the last minute. But if that's your plan, he suggests seeking professional help. For those getting them done today, here's some suggestions. Don't forget the small stuff. According to Forbes, numbers add up. Don't forget deductions for mileage or any small donations you might have made. Perhaps you took some furniture or a stack of clothes to Goodwill. That counts. They also suggest paying attention to all details of the forms. If you plan on using tax software, it's best to use the long form interview. And more importantly, file even if you can't pay. Forbes says that's a good way to avoid extra penalties. And our expert says don't wait until next year, or don't wait next year, rather. Tax season starts right after April 15th, so keep track of everything on a regular basis.
Use a monthly worksheet. Have a plan. Look at your tax return from last year. Figure out if you had too much withheld, for example. If you're getting a large tax refund, it might be a good idea to take fewer withholding exemptions.
Now, something else you need to know, there's still time to get free help. If you have a simple return and earn less than $50,000 a year, you can call the IRS for help. Back to you.
Catherine, thank you. Once your taxes are in, it's time to look forward to your potential refund. We're going to give you some ideas on how to make the most of that money coming up in our next half hour. The deadline is almost here. Countdown's on. You only have one more day to file your taxes.
That's the downside of the story. But on the other hand, that means many of us are one step closer to receiving our tax return. That's great news, right?
That is good news.
News 13's Catherine Mazzone spoke with an expert to learn how to best utilize all of that extra money. Good morning, Catherine.
Good morning, Crystal. Now, our expert says to keep this in mind. This is your money, and you earned it.
The problem is a lot of people take that as a gift and say, hey, I got to go spend it like a gift. It's not a gift. It's money you work for, so use that money to spend it for you.
Mike Suttle with Suttle Financial Group says it's okay to splurge a little, but don't blow all your money. He says this money is how you can use to plan ahead. Use some of it to pay down debt or to make emergency savings plan. Suttle tells me everyone should have at least 3 to 6 months of emergency savings. It's an essential part of any financial plan, but he says only 38% of Americans have one. He also suggests putting the money towards furthering yourself or your career, like buying an online class. Now, Suttle says it's also okay to spend the money on someone else. Remember, the best way to reduce taxes is to give some of your money away. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Catherine. Great advice there. We also asked Suttle about bigger purchases like a new car stereo. He says there's nothing wrong with spending part of the refund on that if it's something that's important to you and something you think you'll get a lot of use out of.